Hi, family. I light this candle in honor of all the children, born and unborn, the children that carry the flame of light of the Guru, that our children are truly our greatest gurus. Our children fully reflect what we need to see about ourselves most. I've been asked to do a series of videos by a beautiful mother here in Florida who has been incredibly inspired by the way that I have chosen to raise my daughter and from stories that I've shared with her about our community in Ashland and how many of us have chosen a different path of parenting. It kind of reminds me and takes me back to this moment where my daughter did a really beautiful watercolor painting that she wrote on her own. Peace on Earth begins with birth. And in my choice of being a priestess birth attendant, I have taken that place of acknowledgement that that is absolutely the entire truth. That peace on earth does begin at birth. And how, as pregnant women, or as women in general, how are we choosing to conceive our children? And how are we choosing to experience the gestational experience of our children growing in our bodies? Women who are able to grow a human in their body. It's something that's beyond description of the magnificence and also often forgotten, along with the connection that all women have womb to womb, the loyalty of the sisterhood, and how we treat each other as women, and how we treat our daughters as daughters of the goddess, how we treat our sacred sons as gods incarnate. This whole place of what do we do as parents wanting to attempt a different way of raising our children. Even in this word magic, what are we doing to raise their experience here on planet Earth? It's so easy to just get them into the grind and push them along with the rest of the followers. And it's also takes a bit of effort and sometimes a lot of extra money to put our children into environments that are a lot more healthy and conscious all the way around. But bottom line is, even in these alternative schools, believe me, my daughter went to pretty much a different alternative school every year of her schooling life. Some of them she stayed a couple more years than others, but it was her request to experience many different schools, and I supported that. And even in those alternative schools, there was bullying, there was video games, there was competition, there was power over. There was a lot of similar experiences that there are in public schools. Yes, at a smaller rate, at a smaller maybe frequency, but at the same time, this is a world of dichotomies. We close our eyes and they open. We go to sleep and we wake up. The sun sets, the sun rises. We are dealing with a place of accepting wholeness now in this age of Aquarius. And so as parents come to me and ask me for support, and as they come with curiosities on how to deal with their children who are addicted to video games or really intense, horrific shows on television and movies, etc., there's a place that we have to go into expanded consciousness. And in that expanded consciousness, How do we witness what's going on in our child is reflective of what's going on inside of us that we haven't really healed or not willing to look at? What's going on with our child, what they're seeing on the screen, what seems like is going into them, it's quite possible actually that that's what's going on inside of them, and the screen is reflecting back. Cancer is such a crazy epidemic right now. And I'm just finding it really interesting that if we look at the astrological sign of Cancer, it's one of the most emotional astrology signs that we have. I've been told. I'm not an astrologer, but I do dabble in that a bit. And what are we doing around emotional ease, since Cancer is such a dis-ease? And so many people, it's often the gift that comes when people are choosing to heal from Cancer, that they do massive work on their emotional body. So instead of all of this focus on healing Cancer, what are we doing to actually prevent Cancer? How are we working with our emotional bodies? And all of that begins at birth. What is the limbic imprinting that's happening? What is the imprinting that our babies are receiving in the limbic part of their brain about what it is to live on planet Earth? How are they being born? Are they born at home in the comfort and into the arms of their loving parents and children and community? Or are they being born by appointment cesarean and into the arms of strangers in the hospital and lots of machinery and not exactly the environment that is conducive to being in a holy ceremonial birth experience, after being held in the womb of the mother, in the amniotic fluids of the mother, and what is the baby coming out into? And then we can go into circumcision, this genital mutilation that is still happening. How is this possibly still happening? Most of us don't choose to remove the clitoris of our baby girls. What are we doing? Still removing the foreskin of our baby boys. How is this dramatically affecting their limbic imprinting of what it is to be here on planet Earth? Peace on Earth begins with birth. Conscious parenting begins with conscious parenting self, conscious conception, conscious pregnancy, conscious birth, and coming into conscious parenting. And as we continue to consciously parent ourselves, we're able to consciously parent our children. And it's never like, remember the whole do as I say but not what I do thing? You know, I wanted my daughter to experience a really healthy, clean, and clear diet for improving and supporting her amazing immune system. So for the first 9 years of her life, I did no dairy, no sugar. I wouldn't be doing dairy and sugar and asking my child not to do dairy and sugar. No caffeine, etc. You know, so these ways, like how does our child, you know, be the greatest teacher for us? And they certainly are. So in this first video of just sharing with you some streams of consciousness, going down the rabbit hole in so many places that I can go with this, I really would love to hear some of your questions so I can focus these videos specifically on your questions and what you're desiring as a conscious parent or as someone who would like to become a conscious parent. It's never too late to begin. I am so grateful and I am so deeply honored to have brought the presence of my beautiful daughter onto this planet. And I give thanks so deeply for all the teachings that she has given me. And I am so honored to be a part of a lineage of priestesses. I am here to serve, and my purpose is to inspire. and let it be so. Blessed be.